This is a short presentation that I entitled Paying for College, and the reason why it's so short is because we want to keep it simple. Through simplification, we take out the complexity of this overwhelming topic, and hopefully that'll bring some clarity to your approach. My name is Tim Higgins. I am the author of Pay for College Without Sacrificing Your Retirement and also Unconventional Investing. Both books can be found on Amazon.com, and I do hold regular speaking engagements based off of the information of both books. You can find a list of my speaking engagements at collegeplusretirement.com. As reviewed in another video, the big picture is that most people share the same financial goals: own a home, pay for college, and also be able to stop working at some point in time. What we need to think about is the holistic picture, this being major pieces of it, and that they're all tied together. So how efficiently we get through college, whatever that total cost is going to be for you, and it can range well into the $200,000 to $300,000 range if we're looking at the elite private schools, and you can multiply that by 2 or 3 depending on how many kids you have. We want to limit loans to the best of our ability, but certainly for a lot of families, that's a piece of how we pay for school. But efficiency is the key. However efficient we are, that's how much money is going to be left over for your own goals, your own retirement, which will dictate how much you can live off of or when you can stop working or cut down to maybe part-time. So, as discussed in my other video, I think the way to look at this for efficiency is to work backwards. Look at your own goal first. That'll help clarify as to what you're willing to commit towards college expenses, which helps you shop for specific schools in your budget, in your price range. Determine what to do with your current assets and liabilities at this point in time. So simplifying the process of paying for school, there are no miracles, there's no magic wand, and it's not actually that complicated. Removing grandparents' assistance, military options, and winning the lottery, there are 4 basic ways to pay for it. The fourth one, financial aid, will be discussed in another video because it warrants more time and there's more details to it. But let's take that away. We need to know how much we can commit from cash flow, how much borrowing we're willing to do or can do, and those 2 answers may be different. And also, what savings can we allocate towards college? Again, knowing how much you need to save for retirement first will help you determine how much you're willing to commit towards. So how much can you afford? This is just a hypothetical family situation, but one attendee at a recent seminar said that this slide alone was worth attending because that it crystallized it's a visual and helped crystallize his game plan on how he can pay for school. So whether it's from student income, student savings, student willing to take out a little bit in borrowing every year, parents having run a cash flow analysis, they've acknowledged that they have about $500 left over at the end of the month. That's $6,000 a year that they're willing to commit. $20,000 saved, so they can do $5,000 a year from savings. They're willing to borrow a little bit as well, and there may be the American Opportunity Tax Credit that's available to them, so that once they spend $4,000 on college expenses, they would get $2,500 back, which is essentially a scholarship in their pocket from the government on reduced tax bill. This hypothetical would be a budget of, and again in quotes, comfortable payments of $30,000 a year. So if there's plenty of schools that cost $30,000 or less, especially the in-state public options and community colleges. If we're looking beyond that, that's where we need that fourth piece to kick in, being financial aid. And if a school is not offering us aid that gets us close to the $30,000 range, as a family, we may be overreaching. It may require more borrowing from the parents, from the student, and whether that's worth it or not, that requires some additional thought and calculation. But this is a great exercise not only to help crystallize for parents a visual as to how you're going to approach college payments, how much you can afford, all the different moving parts and what goes into it, but it's also something you can share with your students. Because in my own personal experience, what I've seen is that when students see this, it sends a couple messages. Number one, that this is not free, a message that's not often shared when they're putting together college lists at the high school. And number two is that this is a big ticket for not only the student, but especially the parents as well. And so if we can be price sensitive, that doesn't mean always go for the lowest costing school, but aggressively go after scholarships and maybe entertain schools that would be willing to give you a merit scholarship, which may not be your reach school, it may be a safety school to you. Again, I'll go into more detail on that in the financial aid presentation. But these are things, bottom line is, I've noticed that it gets the student on the same team with the parents because it is ultimately a group decision that has to be made. And this is a quick exercise that you can run through as a family to figure out how much can we afford, how are we going to pay it, and what are the different ways that we are going to be able to meet that tuition bill.